And welcome to the Old School Show. I'm your host, Coach L.O. Grant, longtime high school football and wrestling coach, now retired. Hey, we've got some great memories, even greater opinions. Let's go. Have you ever just had to say, I was wrong? And you were really sure you were right, but you were wrong. Now, it's easy to just remain silent and hope no one ever reminds you, or maybe everyone just forgets. Now, I've mentioned before that I'm not a basketball guy, and I'm certainly not a women's basketball expert, but I've watched sports my whole life. I've played a lot of sports. I coached sports for a long time, and I taught boys and girls PE classes for a long time. I can recognize pretty quickly who can play and who can't. So when the experts last year at this time said Caitlin Clark would struggle in the WNBA, I figured, okay, they're probably right. They said she can shoot the threes okay, but she's not fast enough. She's not quick enough, not strong enough, or she's certainly not physical enough. Okay, I thought, but what raised my eyebrows was when they said she's going against grown women now, and she's not playing against 17 and 18-year-olds now. Well, first of all, Clark was 22 years old. Since when is a 22-year-old woman not a grown woman? So I found that a strange statement. Secondly, women's college basketball is mainly played by 19 and 22-year-olds, not 17 and 18. Those are still high school kids for the most part. So that one was a head scratcher for me also. And I never heard anyone say about Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or Michael Jordan when they came to the NBA as 19 and 20-year-olds, well, they're going against grown men now. No one said anything like that. So why did they say that with Clark? Or are grown women basketball players really that much better than grown men basketball players? Hey, you basketball people out there, tell me if they are. But what really got me was when Gino Auriemma made those same declarations. In fact, Gino not only reiterated those same criticisms, he said anyone who thought she could make a big impact in her first year was just plain stupid. Very arrogant, smug, and condescending when he said it. I was a little bit surprised. Well, what happened? I watched a little bit. I didn't know she could pass that well. I didn't know she could rebound. I didn't know she could drive to the basket that well. I didn't know she could fire a full court pass that well. And I certainly didn't know she had such a high motor. She played relentless, tireless. Many of those grown women simply couldn't keep up. They sometimes appeared slow, in fact. So many of us were wrong, including me, because I listened to him. But tell me, has Gino looked in the camera and said, I was wrong? She's a player. Now, maybe he has, and I missed it. Let me know if he has, and I'll give him credit. On to the countdown of the 50 greatest NFL running backs of all time, at least in my opinion. Hey, we are at number 30, and that is going to be Eddie George, a 6'3", 235-pounder. He ran for 10,440 yards, 2,227 receiving yards, 9 years in the NFL, mostly with the Titans. He was Rookie of the Year in 1996, a four-time Pro Bowler, two-time All-Pro. He had 7 1,000-yard rushing seasons, including 5 in a row. Now, I just thought he was fun to watch because he was big and strong, and the way he just glided and galloped. It was the way he ran. Fun to watch. Number 30, Eddie George. Coming in at number 29 on my list is Steve Van Buren, a 6', 200-pounder. His nickname was Wham Bam. 8 years in the NFL from 1944 to 51. 2 times he went over 1,000 yards. 5 times All-Pro, first team. He played for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in 1965. He was a runner, a receiver, a passer. He also had 5 interceptions one year as a DB in one season. For 7 years, he was one of the most dominant players in the NFL. When he retired, he held NFL career records for rushing attempts, yards, and rushing TDs. He's a member of the 1940s All-Decade Team and a member of the 100-year anniversary NFL All-Time Team, number 29, Steve Van Buren. Coming in at number 28 on my list, one of my favorite guys watching for a long time, Larry Zonka, a 6'3", 240-pounder, nicknamed Zonk, and that's just how he ran. He played 11 years in the NFL, 8,081 yards, and for the Miami Dolphins in the AFL for 2 years before they joined the NFL, he also had 1,106 yards there. Over 1,000 yards, 3 to the Hall of Fame in 1987. He was a 2-time Super Bowl champ and was the Super Bowl MVP in 1974. 5-time Pro Bowler, 3 times All-Pro. He is the Dolphins' all-time leading rusher. He might be the only running back to receive a personal foul for unnecessary roughness. He delivered a forearm shiver to a safety for the Buffalo Bills, more like a right cross, that knocked him out. He was named one of the 10 toughest players of the NFL all time by NFL Films Productions. Number 28, Larry Zonka. Coming in at number 27 on my list, Leroy Kelly, 6 foot, 200 pounds, 6-time Pro Bowl, 3-time All-Pro, Hall of Famer in 1994, and a member of the 1960s All-Decade Team. He wore number 44. Now, number 44 was just a really popular number back in those days, and I can remember in high school, guys would fight over having number 44. He played 10 years for the Browns, had 7,200 yards rushing, 3 times went over 1,000. He led the NFL in rushing in 67 and 68, and he led the NFL in 66 with 5.5 yards per carry. That is a big, big number per carry. He was a top punt returner in 65 and 71. He retired as the 4th leading rusher in NFL history. He returned punts for 990 yards, kickoffs for 1,784 yards, and he gained 12,330 all-purpose yards. He is number 27 on my list, Leroy Kelly. And coming in at number 26, Frank Gore, a 5'9", 212-pounder. I would describe him as that bowling ball type. 16-year career in the NFL. That's amazing. He had over 16,000 yards. No, I take it back. He ended up with 16,000 on the nose. He was 3rd on the all-time list, 9 times over 1,000 yards rushing, receiving almost 4,000 yards. He had an incredibly long career, especially for a running back. We know that those guys don't last long sometimes. 5 times Pro Bowl, 1 time All-Pro, NFL 2010's All-Decade Team. He's the San Francisco 49ers Hall of Famer, 668 postseason yards, and the career leading rusher for the San Francisco 49ers. Well, that's it for the list this week. We'll start back up with number 25 next week. And one last story on Larry Zonka. It is said that he had one game that he got hit so hard and bent over and twisted so grotesquely that people thought he might be dead. He got up, crawled to the sidelines, pulled himself up, then walked it off, returned back to the game, and led the Dolphins on a game-winning drive. I guess that's why NFL Films called him one of the 10 toughest to ever play. Hey, relive the glory with us each week. Hit that like button if those memories brought a smile to your face. Subscribe so you don't miss the next step down memory lane. And ring that notification bell to be the first to hear our next show.